Scottish motorsport from Scotland's premier circuit as we get set to enjoy a packed lineup of minis perfectly suited to the tight confines of Knockhill. This is David Slay, who led them home in round 17 yesterday, but now they're all set to do battle in round 18 of the Celtic Speed Mini Cooper Cup. Simon Hill and Richard John Neal, the commentators.
Thanks, Steve. We're delighted to bring you this race because it's a superb little championship. Finlay Crocker on row one, Hamish Pandamonium alongside, then Jamie Cleland, famous name, Chris Smiley next to him, then Tim Slay and Vic Covey Jr. on row three. Fourth row of the grid, David Slay, race winner from yesterday, and Steve Brewster. Then it's Kyle Reid, newcomer to motorsport this year, Malcolm McNabb, Alan Walk in 14 and Kenny Brewster next to him. Row 7, Murray Muir and Stephen Clark. Then it's Steve Kerr and Guy Johnston. Ladies Championship leader, Fiona Wallace. Next to her is Nikki Dixon. Back onto row 10, Emma Bruce, second in the Ladies Championship. Michael Falconer next up, then Elaine Marshall and Steph McMurdo. Adam Leach back of the grid with Tom Denham, only in his second race meeting, Tom Denham, and he's at the back, but believe me, he's going to come through the field from there because well capable of it. Lights out, away they go, cracking start then. Well, the man that's drawn pole position for this one, seventh in race one, is Finlay Crocker in the white car, but a great start from the outside of the front row from Hamish Brandon in the Panda car, leads them down into double stick for the first time with Chris Smiley up into second place.
Yeah, a lot of jostling, moving left and right, then look down the inside of Moon, and are they both going to keep it going? Smiley just edging to the inside, a bit of contact there. Jamie Cleland in a good position to capitalise from these two because they're going to compromise each other surely through the chicane. Somehow they get through, and you can see the sort of movement in the car is familiar to those of you that watch the Renault Clio Cup. Front-wheel drive, about the same sort of power, and the rear tyre still a bit cold at this point. There's people bouncing across that Slay. I think that was the other Slay. It was a
Tim Slay, yeah.
It was, wasn't it? Just getting a little bit sideways on the exit of Clark.
Yeah, having a sleigh ride over the gravel. But Hamish Brandon it is, the man from Hoyt down in the Borders, hoping to hoik the car onto the podium this weekend. But we're looking at the gaggle behind him, Jamie Cleland in red, Steve Brewster around his outside in the yellow machine. The number 4 car is Tim Slay, who runs third in the championship at the moment. Chris Smiley second in the race, the only driver to come across, and Tim Slay's got damage. The front of Tim Slay's car, Vic Covey Jr. trying to go up his inside. Vic Covey, the most successful driver in this championship, car number 7, the Core Cup machine, down the inside, had goodness knows how many wins. He's got the record for podiums this year. Pole positions this year. Pole position yesterday, and he can do it wet or dry. And he's chasing the 20 car of Kyle Reid, who's a newcomer this year, brand newcomer to racing this championship. It has drivers that move up, say from other formulas in Scotland, or indeed from karting. Chris Smiley's come up from karting. Slay Brothers have come up through the XR2s here at Knockhill. But it also caters for brand new drivers who maybe do track days here. And a problem off there for Emma Bruce. That's disappointing for Emma, who's been running very strongly in the Ladies' Cup, second in the Ladies' Championship. That possibly means that Elaine Marshall might overhaul her this weekend. But what I was getting around saying, it's a mixture of experience. And here comes the very experienced Chris Smiley down the inside of a newcomer to racing, Hamish Brandon. And it's the Ulsterman who passes the man from Hoyt up into first position, Chris Smiley. 4 race wins this year, championship-wise. 4 wins for Smiley, 4 wins for Tim Slay, 4 for Vic Covey Jr., 5 after yesterday for David Slay.
And that just indicates that this is competitive for a number of reasons. One is because the cars are so equal, but also you've got a situation where these guys know this circuit really, really well. Therefore, you don't have a situation where you get in a normal national championship where people are sometimes quicker at some tracks.
Amy Cleland into Hamish Brandon. Sorry, the cut across to Simon. Oh, Cleland's trying to mate with him, but can't mate a Panda car, can you? And he's trying to come through. And
Steve Brewster comes through, doesn't he?
Steve Brewster, he's been real quick in that car. His brother Kenny in the green machine down the order. Murray Muir goes through as well. Let's see whether Hamish has been able to get back on. But Jamie Cleland, forceful stuff from him. He's only done a couple of races so far this year, Jamie Cleland. He used to race the championship back in 2006. He was a race winner back then. But this is great stuff at the moment from Chris Smiley. Here comes the pressure from Kyle Reid, car number 20. Reid v Cleland, where have we heard that before?
That sounds familiar, isn't it? 2 fine Scotsmen. And yeah, Jamie Cleland, I had a long chat with him yesterday. He, of course, his day job, if you like, is working with Celtic Speed as one of the guys that works on their Porsche Carrera Cup cars. Of course, Tommy Dreeland, George Brewster and Rory Butcher's cars.
Steve Brewster then having a great second position here. He's been on the podium before and he's due a race win before too long, but Chris Smiley getting away. 10-second penalty to Tim Slay, unfortunately. That's disappointment for Tim in his first full season. Leads the Newcomers Championship. That's for drivers with limited experience of this mini class here. And he did pretty much half a season last year, won races last year, so expect him to be perhaps up going for championship honours next year as we look at Jamie Cleland still being chased by the number 4 car. Now, of course, Tim Slay in the 4 car won't be too concerned about the 10-second penalty at the moment. As far as he's concerned, it's all about this race with Jamie Cleland out front.
Yeah, a bit sideways again there. It's very easily done, dropping the wheel just on the exit of the grass creek there, the exit of Clark, and a few others doing exactly the same. But Cleland has got to get his head down now, and try and work his way through. Seems to have got away with that contact relatively undamaged.
Absolutely right. I'm just keeping an eye on the timing screen. Vic Covey Jr., second in the championship, down in 14th place, which isn't great for him. And David Slay is going to be outscoring him. Watch, you can see David Slay in the mix there, just behind Hamish Brandon in the Panda car, and Hamish coming under pressure from Malcolm McNabb, who in turn has got is being drafted by the championship leader, the red car with the silver top, black stripes across the top of it, and down behind them Kenny Brewster in the green car. Kenny running well. These 4 down into Scotsman Corner. You can see how Hamish chucks it in. This is pretty much his first full season. Very much looking forward to sticking with the championship next year. He told me over the course of the morning break that Malcolm McNabb having his first race for a while as well, and running with Team Slay Racing. That's all over the day. Coming up, Murray Muir goes past the Edinburgh-based restaurateur in the 10 car, manages to...
Oh, somebody else. Is that Slay? Is that David Slay? It was, wasn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah. David Slay having a little moment. So the Slay boys certainly kicking up the gravel. You do tend to see that a little bit in the racing here, but he's down the inside line now of Kenny Brewster. So Hamish Brandon down in 5th at the moment. That's not too bad for him. He's actually in 6th position in the championship, closing up on Adam Leach, who I can tell you has come up to 13th from the back of the grid. Adam, a podium finisher up at, we had an away round for this championship at Kirkiston, Northern Ireland. The guys absolutely loved it. Double points. Unfortunately, Vic Covey Jr. had his first non-finish of the year at Kirkiston, which really punished him points-wise. So he's away down the order, and I think he might be waving goodbye, sadly, to his championship now after coming through the last lap just behind Alan Walk in 11th position. Woohoo Walk, as we call him, a long-time backer. Really helps everybody out, Alan. I know that the people around the paddock would be upset if I didn't say how much he helps everyone out. Does a really terrific job. Look at that great shot,
isn't it? Yeah, that's brilliant. I really see how hard the cars are working. And my wife drives a Mini Cooper.
Not like that, though.
Not like that. Well, actually, sometimes when she's late for work. And I can vouch for just what a good little chassis. Well, my wife and the car.
You have to say that, don't you?
Yeah. Basically, so basically, I've got to vouch for how well the car absolutely takes that sort of corner. You can really throw the cars around. They're great fun little cars.
Malcolm McNabb up into 5th position, inside Hamish Brandon, side by side. Up the hill they come. Now Brandon looks across. Hamish McNabb looks as if he's got a little bit more grunt here as they come up over the brow, side by side. David Slay behind them, then Kenny Brewster. This is very unusual.
See the look across there. Sorry to have you. Just looked across there.
Time to do that.
Come on, let me through.
He's got it back. Hamish Brandon,
outside him. I'll break it later. Now, just going back to the action at the front, just a couple of laps previously.
David Slay better. Malcolm McNabb, teammate, passes teammate. Team Slay Racing. It's not Tim Slay, Team Slay, because it's 2 Slay brothers. Has gone through. So David Slay, the former XR2 champion here. That's what the XR2 guys are really looking to do. Second in the championship, Vic Covey getting the fastest lap. He is so quick around here, and there goes David Slay on the inside. Hamish Brandon gets it sideways. Well, the Panda's all over the dirt, gets it back on, loses the place to Malcolm McNabb. Kenny Brewster as well, and Murray Muir to rub it in.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing there is obviously it was a good move by Slay initially, but you did get the impression there that I think that Brandon could have maybe just backed out of it and kind of just consolidated losing 1 place. In fact, he got edged onto the dirt and lost 3 instead. So a bit of inexperience maybe, but nevertheless it makes great TV, doesn't it? Fantastic action. And the thing I love about this championship is that we love the Renault Clios that are normally with us on the touring car package, but the cars are so efficient there. They're a much more of a race-developed version. This is really a standard car with slightly different tyres, better brake pads, and that's about it, really. Jamie Cleland was telling me the gearboxes are standard, which means that you have to be quite careful with them, because as racing drivers do, they tend to fall through the gears. Brandon off now.
Hamish.
Somebody just disappeared on the other side of it. No. You see what you mean about the Panda Racing now. We didn't see it out close, did you know?
It's a great livery, helps us pick out the cars. So the man from Hoyt's going to be happy with the TV coverage he's had, but he won't be happy with the result. I know he was nervously going off from the front row of the grid. Vic Covey, fastest man, just going through there. second in the championship, and he'll remain second today, such as the standings are. But look at this scrap for third place. Tim Slay chasing Jamie Cleland.
Yeah, exactly. So he's got it ahead of Reed, hasn't he? He's got himself into that position to close him down. Must have been on the previous lap there. But Jamie Cleland had got fastest lap for a couple of laps in succession until Covey found a time from somewhere. But it's very good out of the hairpin, Jamie. Seems to have got good momentum as they come down into Duffer Step and sweep into that. Oh, pitches the car. Now, I've got to say, Jamie Cleland pulled off the overtake of the weekend for me yesterday in the first race. Came from about 5 car lengths to go past 2 cars to take the lead. And incredibly, somehow ended up 5th at the end of the race. So it was a fantastic, in fact, him and Slay and both the Slay brothers and Covey, just superb racing action. And it would be lovely to see these little cars racing with us more regularly, wouldn't it?
I think that this is a very successful championship. As I mentioned in the explainer, it's in its 9th year. It's cost effective. And, you know, there's got to be a model, isn't there, for keeping racing cost-effective, getting a good load of cars in.
Sorry, Richard.
Hamish, yeah.
That's what happened to Brandon with Vic Covey.
Wasn't it? It was Vic, yeah.
A bit last of the late breakers in terms of just charging down the inside. Little Cleland having to fight hard to keep Slay behind. Slay trying to get the cut back to the inside. But you can see that Jamie very, very ready from the car that Jamie's driving is actually normally raced by Gemma Dreelan, who's the daughter of Tommy Dreelan, who races in the Carrera Cup, and it's Tommy's race team and company Celtic Speed that, of course, sponsor the championship. And we've also got George Brewster racing for Celtic Speed in Porsches, and it's Stephen and Kenny is George's son, so there's lots of family links. And Danny Dreelan is Tommy's nephew, so all good stuff.
Really appreciate the support that they've given the championship as well this season. Absolutely fantastic.
I think you will not meet a nice bunch of people than the guys at Celtic Speed as a race team. Every single one of them. Tommy and George and Rory, the drivers, are superb, but also all of the lads that work there, Alan and the rest of the boys, are just an absolute pleasure to deal with when you wander around the paddock, aren't they?
Absolutely right. Now, Tim Slay, who'll know about that 10-second penalty hanging over him, but he wants to climb up because, well, Jamie Cleland not in the championship as such. Lights on, a little bit of a flash for Stephen Brewster, who is ahead of him, and will they start getting into back market traffic a little bit later on. Just looking down my timing screen, I'll tell you, Fiona Wallace is leading the ladies' championship. That last year was won by Carol Brown, who, of course, moved on to the Legends Championship. She's down in 16th position. We've got 6 ladies racing in the championship this year.
Did Carol Brown do Legends before she did Minis as well?
Yeah, she's
the same lady who did that. I remember her being very successful in that. Yeah, so because we had Legends with us a few years ago, didn't we, up here? So.
Absolutely right. She still leads the Legends Championship up here as well.
Of course, Derek Pearce, the other
Derek did it, yeah.
Legends legend, as it were, who had a brilliant race early in the JD Pearce car to win.
Dave Newsman, the touring car's making progress in that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to win the Pro M1 category. George Brewster winning the Pro M2, and Tommy Dreelan on the podium in Pro M2. So Celtic Speed and the other Scotsman up here, Derek Pearce. There's a great shot into the visor, isn't it? Really see the focus of the driver there, and the 17 car of Fiona Wallace. She's obviously absolutely in the zone, driving very well. Just before the cars went out to race, I wandered through the collecting area, and the lady drivers were all sort of standing there very chilled out, looking very calm about it, and Hamish Brandon was the only driver in the car, helmet on, ready to go. Everyone else was just chilling, so maybe that's a nice sort of relaxed indication of just the way the championship works, that everyone has a good old scrap out on the circuit, but chills out and has some fun away from it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's about. There's Tom Denham. He's a newcomer in his 2nd race meeting, son of the ex-SMRC, Scottish Motor Racing Club chairman, Sandy Denham.
Oh, yeah.
And he's racing real. It's a good first meeting, a couple of mechanical failures. Actually, I think that'll only be his 3rd finish if he races up. But Fiona having a go at Nicky Dixon, who's a new driver, the red car in front, brand new driver. As you can see, no prisoners taken.
No, exactly. We've seen, obviously, we've seen lots of very, very quick lady racers in various different forms of motorsport over the years, and there's definitely something to be said that we've seen more and more ladies getting into motorsport with things like in the main token package, the Ginetta Junior, seeing lady racers like Sarah Moore and Louise Richardson come through that, and of course Alice Powell. And then this is kind of, in a way, a great way of seeing lady racers get their experience here. So great to see the more the merrier in terms of the grid, to get them more balanced. I'd like to see it where it was almost eventually 50-50, but that would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be really good, wouldn't it? Fiona Wallace came through the XR2 Championship. Vic Covey Senior, who is the championship coordinator, very keen to get more ladies involved. And as I say, some of these drivers have come through. Alan Walton, I was talking to earlier on, came through track days, and he just got fed up with doing track days. He thought, I might as well go and race.
Go and do some racing.
It was cheaper for him to come and do racing.
Cleland and Slay in a change of position, I think.
Yeah, here we come then. So this is the scrap for 3rd position. Tim Slay in the white car. third in the championship, looks down the inside, but Jamie Cleland throws the car into the corner and hangs on to it. Cleland, absolutely superb start, but into Scotsman corner, here comes Slade.
What's the come back?
Yes, Chad Cleland read that well.
Well, it's not. It's John Cleland driving that, isn't it? It's not Jamie Cleland, I'm sure it is. His dad's away in Dubai, unfortunately, this weekend, Jamie was telling me, because I think he would have been very proud of the move he did yesterday, and that one there. That's definitely a chip off the old block. He was very concerned about not damaging the car, because, as I said, it is the car that Gemma Dreelan and his boss Tommy Dreelan owns, actually. So he went, oh, someone here, there again, Slade very, very wide as the rest of the pack come through, and Reed as well, I think, having a bit of a moment. And getting Covey now is coming through, capitalising on that speed that we saw earlier with Fastnet. Still has Fastnet 103.796, and it looks like this, yeah, fantastic drive through.
Yeah, Vic Covey, then there he is, the black and red number 7 car just ahead of Kyle Reid, driving up from, what was he, 10th, 11th, 12th earlier on. Now, back marker in the mix here. I think that's Steph McMurdo, who's the back marker, one of the ladies' racers. Son of Ian and Caroline McMurdo, who race up here at Knockhill as well. But Chris Smiley has been caught by Brewster.
Yeah.
This is great stuff from Brewster.
Well, that was sorry, Richard, that was a 2-second gap about 5 laps ago. So he's been taking big chunks of time out of 3/10 on the previous lap, and with just over a lap to go, if Smiley is feeling the pressure, then this is going to give Brewster a fantastic opportunity to take a victory, be his first victory of the season.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think he might have had one before at the end of last season when one of the reverse grid races. Certainly, this was a reverse grid race for him, but he was further back at the start. So this is a great performance from him. But the ex-karting champion Chris Smiley is still there out front at the moment. I was talking to some of the Ginetta Junior drivers. They used to race against Chris Smiley in the Formula Kart stars, like Tom Ingram and Max Coates. So old friends reunited this weekend. There is Cleland and Slade still having a cracking scrap there between the two of them.
A bit of a tap there from Slade just behind. Now, this is it. This is going to be the last lap charge. I'm sure Brewster has got his dander well and truly up. He's going to have a go. He's going to try and do what his dad George did in the Pro-Am 2 category Carrera Cup and take victory. But even if he doesn't, it's going to be a superb drive from down on the grid, fought his way through, capitalised on the dramas that went on ahead of him as well. And the scraps continue through the pack.
David Slade just getting past Malcolm McNabb to move up into, so I think, 5th position. So it's Slade, sorry, 5th position, 4th and 5th at the moment as Chris Smiley still hangs on to it in 22. So Chris Smiley looking for his 5th win of the championship. We'll be looking to build on that 4th position there. Any one of, really, you've got to say, 4 drivers in regular drivers in the championship, and the championship's still very much open. They're racing here again next weekend, so a lot of the drivers were mindful about keeping the cars in one bit.
Yeah, it's going to be a lunge, is it? Let's have a little look. Is Brewster going to have a go? He's certainly going to try and tee him up and get a run out of the hairpin, but I think he's done enough. Meanwhile, it's Slade on Cleland, and it's Cleland has been slayed by the looks of it, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, he has, and Cleland's going to try and fight back. But Chris Smiley, the Ultimate, takes it. He's delighted with that. Chris Smiley, the winner. Steve Brewster, superb 2nd position from him. Tim Slade, 10-second penalty, but 3rd place on the road from Jamie Cleland. Then it's David Slade, championship leader. He will still be after that. Then across the line, it's Hamish McNabb, Murray Muir. Vic Covey comes in 6th position ahead of them. Cracking way. Look at this side-by-side stuff going on here. Steve Kerr up the inside to take 13th place.
Did you see Steve Kerr like nodding his head, like egging the car on? As Brandon having a little scrap with further down the order with Danny Dreelan there.
Yeah, let's see who's going to get the better of that. Looks like Hamish has just about managed to get that one stuck. Here he comes across the line. We'll take the checkered flag. And just ahead of them was Fiona Wallace, who won the Ladies' Cup again this weekend. Fiona well on her way to a championship, and I know dead keen, if she can win that, to come back and defend the title next year. The 17 car. If those of you that have watched the Scottish Mini Cooper Cup over the years might remember Mark Dreelan running in those colours. Sorry, not Mark Dreelan, get mud like Mark Dryden.
Mark Dryden, yeah.
There's
lots of Dreelans and Brewsters out there today, aren't there? Seems like the whole family's racing, doesn't it?
So Chris Smiley then, great win for him, great reward for him and his dad who come over, and they come over from Northern Ireland. Carrickfergus is where he's based, and great to see drivers like this, you know, commentated on in karts, coming up into car racing and doing so well. He enjoys the away days as well. He was a double winner in the away round at Kirkeston a few months ago, which was, I know, a major achievement for him. Confirmation of round 18 of the Celtic Speed Mini Cooper Cup. Chris Smiley, the race winner from Stephen Brewster. Jamie Cleland in 3rd. Then David Slade, followed by Kyle Reid and Vic Covey Jr. Malcolm McNabb 7th from Murray Muir. Then Adam Leach in 9th. And great drive from Adam from the back. Kenny Brewster in 10th position. 11th place on the penalties, that's Tim Slay with his 10-second penalty. Alan Walk in 12th place from Steve Kerr. Then it's Kenny McLeod 14th from Nicky Dixon. Fiona Wallace in 16th from Hamish Brandon, recovering from his moment off on the gravel. Then Danny Dreelan, Mikey Falconer in 19th. Tom Denham comes home in 20th position. What a great race that was, very well supported. It's cost effective, it's affordable, and I suspect there are quite a few people watching on TV, watching here at the circuit, that will be thinking, hey, this is something I could do, something quite easily get into.
Yeah, definitely, and of course there is not just a Scottish Mini Coopers, there's a national Mini Cooper as well, a little bit bigger budget because it's a national championship, but a fantastic performance, a fantastic level of racing, and certainly I quite fancy a go watching that yesterday. It's relit the fire for me to go racing. I'd like to do that as a smiling Smiley, and a fantastic job. And Louise Goodman is going to talk to our winner.
Well, smiling indeed, and so he should, because that was a great result for you. Fantastic win, 5th of the season.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're lucky we got a good enough start there. I sort of got a good bit of a break at the start, and sort of everybody had to peg me down again, but we were struggling for a bit of speed up the straight, and so we're trying to make all our time through the chicane and through the back section, so I had to drive a hard race.
Came on coming under a little pressure in the closing laps from Mr. Brewster just behind you.
Yeah, no, he was definitely coming close. If I think if it had been 2 or 3 more laps, he'd have been a bit of a dice for the lead, but thankfully he didn't catch me and won it, so we're very happy.
And got yourself a good points haul towards the championship as well, which is always a good thing.
Yes, definitely. The win will definitely give us a few more points, so hopefully we can push on next race next time, so see how we get on.
Well done. Let's bring in Stephen and have a chat with him about that result. You were pushing him hard in those final couple of laps, weren't you?
Yeah, I felt like I was catching him towards the end, but tyres going off and stuff. I was never going to be able to make a move or anything, so I just played it safe and kept behind him. But it was good.
Great. I was going to say, second place is still a fantastic result for you, isn't it?
I'm absolutely delighted because I've sort of been on the back of that podium all sort of season, and a good weekend to do it now. Really happy.
Good stuff. And an enjoyable race as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Really enjoyable. Yeah, really good fun.
Good. Well done, you. And our third place finisher, you had to battle for it at the end, though, didn't you? Coming under some serious pressure there.
Sure did. I don't know what happened, but we lost some ABS on it, and just wouldn't pull up. Coming down at the McIntyres, tried to stop it and just puffs of white smoke. Same at the hairpin, so I have to go super defensive into hairpin. I thought I had a chance of catching the other two until that happened, and unfortunately it never worked, so I had to concentrate most on my rear view mirror.
And you brought the car home in one piece, though. It looked at a couple of stages in the race like that wasn't going to happen. A few incidents going on.
Typical bloody touring car driver. Wants to, I don't know. I'm happy with the result. I just wish I could have caught the other guys. It's a little bit disappointing, but hey ho, not bad for no bloke.
Not bad at all. Well done you for that result.